when I'm seeing an advert. Grey Goose are giving me an advert on Twitch. What is this? Botanical and fruit essence Grey Goose. What's good? Welcome to the show, everyone. We're live on Twitch and YouTube. All the boys are back. 4-man show. Can you believe it? Come on. Welcome, everyone. Wow, what a week, baby. It's been way more entertaining than I thought it would be. It's like the off break between champs. Nobody says anything from the teams. They all just say we're grinding in silence. Final push, you know. But we've got some drama to keep the scene ticking over. There's been the big views of the last few days. There's been all the Velly stuff. So we're definitely going to talk about it. We're going to do Rostermania. We're going to do some other stuff as well. Yeah, for your favorite people, Rose, plus Omar in the background. It doesn't get any better than this. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Have you got a tweet, Omar, you're done? Because I need to reply. Fantastic. Beautiful, beautiful. Damn. Wait, what is that? What is that? Okay, I'm going to reply with is it the Scump banana pic? Here it is, yeah. Because tacticalrab Academy tweeted it, and I was like, damn, I don't have that one saved. So we're going to drop that in there. Managed to get Nadeshot to follow me by doing that tweet on the thing, so congrats everyone. Shout out Nadeshot.
Bro, he followed me the first month I made the page. He followed me.
Oh really? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Oh, he unfollowed you.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough scenes.
But did he unfollow?
It was like 4 years ago.
Oh no.
Wow. Okay. One day I'll get Scump, but not yet.
Yeah, I still haven't got Scump. No.
It's a hard one.
Did Dashy unfollow me? Yeah, Dashy unfollowed me. Someone else apparently unfollowed me. Kenny? Yeah, I think Kenny unfollowed me. I don't blame them, to be honest, because sometimes, like, you know, so if a team's terrible and I call them out, like, I wouldn't want to see that as a pro. You know what I mean? Like,
no, you just say what people are thinking.
So yeah, I don't blame them for following, but you know, So it's all good. At least I'm not blocked anymore by Temp. That was funny. But that's not the case anymore. Hasn't been for a while. So Temp's a real one. Scump's mum follows me. Let's go. Shout out Scump's mum. I don't know, Kirsten or something. Kristen. Something like that.
Kristen, that's it.
Yeah, I've been racing 100T, but you know, thought me and Kenny got along well, to be fair. We've done some interviews and stuff, but we'll get him back at some point when he wins champs. Goes for the back-to-back. MVP Ken back in the building. But we're not really going to talk about that today because we're going to talk about champs predictions next week. This week we've got all the drama. Bit of Rostermania, bit of Velly stuff, maybe quite a lot of Velly stuff depending on how it goes because there's a lot that can be pieced together there. Everyone has probably heard some side of the story. Whether any of it's true, who knows? Seems like a bigger deal than it had to be honest, but I can't say I'm complaining too much. Challengers champs, MVP race, bit of drama, and then I think we're going to do a CODLe to finish out the show. So splashy. We all know who it is. Yeah, Crone. I don't know how much intel Crone has. There's been some talk going around, but you know.
I don't know, so bro. I've been sleeping for a week.
Yeah, actually true. Crone's been unwell. He's back. Hopefully. Well, he's back. Anyway, let's go. I see him. He looks good. Okay, cool. So, what episode are we in? Is it 75? Come on, baby. I basically leaked on Discord. Well, it was leaked on Reddit before I talked about it on Discord. So, cross-streaming service, Willie. Okay, all right, cool. I'll give us a countdown. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Omar, you good? We good? All right, fantastic. 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, tacticalrab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome to episode 75 of the Breaking Point podcast. A surprisingly entertaining week here on the COD scene. It's the off week, really, between the prelim for the World Championship and after Major 4. But we have plenty to discuss. Drama was going off this week. The big talking point, of course, is this whole Velly situation. What's going on? Has it been made out to be a much bigger deal than it has to be? What is actually the story here behind the scenes? So many different perspectives. I'm sure this is isn't going away anytime soon either. We've seen plenty of subtweets coming out from many of the individuals potentially involved. It's an absolute mess, but it's Call of Duty, baby, and it's not just Vanguard on this occasion, but it is still Vanguard. We're going to talk a bit of Rostermania, bit of Challengers Champs, other topics as well. Crone, you're back. You've been unwell for a little bit. Living under a rock, I suppose, but back in full force, baby. Let's go.
I'm here. Feeling good. I'm feeling better than I was last week. Jesus.
Is that Vanguard on the screen behind you? I don't know if we can see that on screen.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Great game.
That's committed. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Austin, you've been watching a lot of Vanguard lately. FaZe scrim's going well. I saw you playing OpTic and Shotzi was working you, but we regain.
No, that wasn't even. We were, but no. Alex is a troll. He loves tweeting stuff out like that. But they've been going good. It's business as usual, honestly, right now. So just hoping we keep getting better. Get ready for next week because I think we fly out in exactly 7 days. So yeah, last home stretch of practice to get better this week.
How's it going, Lion? We're back. Different background today.
Yeah, mixing it up as per usual. Crone gave me his illness. Now I'm feeling pretty tough. Been working the design. Got some cards coming out later this week. And then just ready for this podcast, boys.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. All right, cool. Let's crack on. Let's do Rostermania first up because there has been some talk on Rostermania. Like, who are the free agents effectively? We've seen some stuff. I don't know what you want to bring up on screen, Harry, but you can do anything, to be honest. There's a Google Doc, Google Sheet that Ben J. Nassim has been working on. Effectively from the CDL website, you can get some of this stuff on the contracts, but also asking around because some people have re-signed, but it hasn't really been put on the website. Now, Minnesota ROKKR come out and they confirm that the contracts are at an end for Standy, Attach, and Priester, and so they can't retain them if they want to leave. Those players want to go elsewhere, unless, of course, they give them a good offer. I don't know what I really do if I'm ROKKR here, to be honest, because it's got to be a blow it up session. They are keeping the same coaching staff, so they're going to give Saint and Looney another go, and hopefully they can build a good team this time. That maybe wins series in quicker than 5 maps. That would be nice next year, please. Interesting stuff. Then we've also got plenty of other free agents because there's some big names that I just wanted to mention. So apparently the entire London team are going to be free agents, which I guess makes sense. But that's quite a big deal, especially Afro. I know Ben was talking about the fact that Afro might be a very hot property on the free agent market as one of the, I think, honestly, current superstar SMGs, but certainly future superstar SMGs of the league. And I don't know if does Afro think that he can win an event on London? I'm not so convinced. And even Crimsix recently was putting Afro in his A tier of SMG players, or just of players in general, which is quite high praise from Crim with the players he was putting him alongside. There was some talk about Toronto, but apparently they've all re-signed. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is just players that can walk away. The likes of Hydra and Clayster and John on Paris are in a similar boat as well. So there are a few players out there, and Awakening and Skies as well, 2 key names on Florida that are officially free agents at the end of the season. But there will be more free agents when teams decide to make moves and then let players go, but those might well be restricted free agents, not unrestricted as these guys could be. So Crone, what are your thoughts on this? From a roster perspective, there's not that many free agents this year. A lot of these players will probably get extended, but there are a few key names, the likes of Hydra and Afro, and maybe someone on Toronto comes up if they decide to make a move over there that could really shake up the situation, right? Because one key move starts the dominoes.
Yeah. Bro, I think it's still too early to be really discussing this type of thing. Who knows what happens at champs? Toronto could win and they stick together. Whatever team wins is probably going to stick together. Who knows, bro? We can only look at really 4 teams right now, and most of them look like they're probably going to clear the entire ship. So I mean,
yeah.
I don't know, bro. With Afro, I think Afro would probably stay with London and maybe rebuild again or bring back, run it back with a few of the others. I just feel like he's comfortable there.
And I kind of agree.
And that's the reason why Nasty went in the first place. Because I think Nasty had a chance to go to Seattle Surge one point, I think. Don't quote me. But I think he chose London for less money, actually. I think he chose London because it was just more like, homely. And he knew all the players, and he felt more at home there. So I think Afro will probably go the same way this year. I don't think he leaves. Unless like Thieves drop an absolute bang on him or something like that. But I don't see him leaving. Or many other teams.
Probably bring you in, Chrome, for the intel. But I mean, I don't know. I hope Afro has more ambition. That's all I'll say. What do you reckon, Austin? I mean, I guess ROKKR would maybe be the key discussion here so far because they're a team that obviously has much higher ambitions than what they've achieved. Crim is kind of implying that one of those guys might even be out of the league next season, but there's talk about what exactly they do. It was, I think it was Looney who said that they want to build around like a key piece SMG and then their main AR. So those are the first two pieces they're looking for. I don't know what direction they'll go because they could just extend Havoc, which probably isn't a bad idea, given he is a solid, serviceable player. But they do need to kind of pair him with a superstar, and I'm not sure where they go to do that if they really want to contend.
Yeah, I think it's probably safe to say that you won't see Attach back here unless something big happens. They are in an interesting spot because they'll be one of the first teams that have like pretty much a clean slate plus Havoc, which opens you up to finding a superstar to build the roster on your team, because you don't have anyone else on there besides Havoc. So that will be interesting to see if somebody comes over there trying to build their own roster. I would like to see Priestley go somewhere else to kind of find like another system to go inside of, like to re-find like his form. I think Attach will probably be a very, very hot commodity this next offseason. Standy's an interesting one. Standy really didn't have a good year at all. He had an okay year last year. There was a lot of like hype around him coming up. It will be interesting because his stock doesn't seem like it's too high. But he's still really young and he's shown a lot of upside in the past. So he'll be someone that could find his way onto a prove it roster, alongside like another really good SMG to see if he can do it. Kind of like Neptune last year or like this year going into this year. So it'll be interesting. I'm really curious on what direction Minnesota goes with. The one player I'm kind of looking at, well, with Attach, because I think Attach will be a big player. The key player I'm looking at is honestly Awakening. I want to see kind of where he slots in because he's known kind of around the league as someone that has tremendous gun skill. He's got a lot of raw talent. Someone that people are saying he just needs to be coached up. He just needs to be molded into a player. I personally think he's got amazing like gun skill talent. So he'll be interesting to see where he goes. Outside of that, I do believe Afro will not just commit right away. I think Afro will probably be someone who looks at his options, and a play that I think would be kind of crazy if it happens is maybe Afro to Toronto. I don't know who would be going in and out, but Afro to Toronto, it kind of makes sense if he wants to go that route. I'm not huge on like EU NA mixed rosters. They haven't really worked out well for like longevity wise in the past. So like I definitely think the way Toronto went about it is with the full European roster, and that's been the better of the two rosters over the last 3 years. London has performed consistently really well too. So it wouldn't shock me to see some sort of trade go on there, or maybe one thing or the other there. So those are the kind of the big plays that you have around the league between Minnesota, Florida, and London and Toronto.
Yeah. To be honest, like most of the players in this, I don't really care about where they go. I only care about where Hydra ends up because to me he's top 3 most talented SMGs in the league. Afro, I kind of care. I want to see him get on a good team, but like you mentioned him going to Toronto potentially. Wouldn't he be there in place of Clemsix? Because Bance is like a completely different type of player. Austin?
Yeah, Yeah, but then you have to ask yourself a question: do you think Afro or Kleenex is better, and then who do you think is more consistent?
That's the point. I think that they're pretty similar, but I think Kleenex is more aggressive. So it's like, what are you going to get from that? Are you going to gain much? Are you going to lose some chemistry, gain some skill, and then it's just like they're in the same spot?
I mean, you could gain communication. Maybe this roster's just run its course over 2 years. Maybe they want like a fresh face to bring in there, a fresh voice. Afro would be an upgrade. Like he's a good communicator. I think Afro is more aggressive than or just as aggressive as Kleenex. If you watch him play on definitely in the SMDs, he's a playmaker for them. So honestly, those two players are very similar. So that's why I see if they want a new face, a new voice, like they said, okay, this has been 2 years. We've won one tournament. I don't include the kickoff really, but we won one of the majors. Maybe it's time for a new voice. I don't think they will do that. I really like this Toronto team already as it is. But if they were to make a change, I think that's the only logical change that I see them doing. Yeah.
Unless they got a Hydra for bans, which would be also unreal.
I don't think that would work though. I don't think so at all. Because the communication, there'd be a lack of communication on that team. Not saying just Hydra. I just don't think the communication from your SMG duo. We saw that with LA Thieves admitted that themselves that they didn't have the best communication, even though they had a lot of talent on their SMG line. That's why they said moving Kenny to the SMG really unlocked their potential because Kenny is such a good communicator on the front line. Kleenex is a little bit more quiet. And then Hydra, obviously, it's just I'm not going to say it's just communication on that would be a question mark. I think Ben brings a lot to the table for them as their IGL, as their he communicates a shit ton on he's always their bomb planner. He does all the dirty work for them. If you've ever noticed that, he has the most bomb plants in the CDL since Modern Warfare. Since at the time Shotzi was planning bombs like clockwork for Dallas, but since then he has the most bomb plants. He does a lot for that team, a lot of the dirty work, which frees up their superstars to put up superstar numbers. I think Kleenex and Cammy and Insight do a lot better job because they don't have to do any of the as much of the dirty work. It just kind of unlocks them to be better. I think that's the underlooked side of team making, is finding someone to do that, to make your superstars better, to allow their superstars to pick up the momentum, get the confidence. Yeah, I think those guys could be just as good, but I think that certainly helps out a lot.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I do rate what bands can bring to the team, but I kind of am on the side of if they really stick out this roster with another year, I don't know if they're really going to get back to actually winning events with it. So I think Toronto should think about doing something. But I think Awakening is one of the big questions as well. I feel like Hydra might end up just sticking on New York, depending on what happens there. But if they do come top 3 at champs, as many would suggest that they could, then they might just stick for next season, given how good they've been the last half of this year. But so maybe there's an option there as well that New York and Hydra likes that environment and keeps going as well. But so you've kind of got to hope that these free agents, if you want some crazy Rostermania, have a bad champs. But bad champs can make or break a lot of these teams going into next year. Let's talk Velly though, baby, because look, speaking of champs, someone who's not going to be there is the host of the CDL since the start of the season. This kind of came out of nowhere. I saw the tweet from the league that were yeah, we accept his resignation. I'm like, are they trolling? Is there some joke I'm missing here? Because it didn't make any sense, right? Because Velly was all talking about super gung-ho about the CDL, really enjoying the events, the desk, the CDL in general, the environment, the fans, the storylines. Velly was having a great time, and I thought was doing a great job this season. Brought a lot of energy to the desk. I actually didn't have the desk on mute the entire time, as is usually the case. So Velly deserves some credit for that one. Weird situation. Resigns. We don't really hear anything about it, but I must say it was interesting that when he did the resignation, he did the tweets about, don't come at the CDL, there's nothing between me and the CDL, it was a personal decision or whatever. People were trying to figure out, okay, what's going on here, right? Is Valorant just giving him a bag? But it didn't make any sense because it was right before champs. Why would you quit 2 weeks before champs? It didn't really make much sense. And then none of the talent were in his replies, right? No, none of the guys were being really enjoyed working with you, Velly, but wish you the best, all this type of stuff. Like, there was none of them in the replies. It was just like, something's going on here. And then it really got kicked off by this Deserter article that comes out. And Velly, in his piece, was kind of implying that this caster 3 might have been the one to actually be giving the info here to Deserto, because I mean, it initially said that the CDL forced Velly to retire, which turns out that wasn't the case, and mentioned an intoxicated altercation in which Velly was forced to retire and everyone else got off scot-free, which definitely didn't sound good for Velly. Now, Velly came out and defended himself and saying that's not what happened, and Crimsix had a story that kind of aligned with what Velly said, but not entirely. There's a couple of differences that we'll mention. Standy, Pred, Phoenix, a lot of guys coming out in defense of Velly here, but we don't have all the sides of the story yet. Then Velly does his explanation, and now we've got guys like Blaze apparently involved, like subtweeting that. I mean, like, I don't know if you want to bring up any of these tweets here. Okay, yeah, this is the Crimsix one that is currently on the screen with Crim's point of view, but there's also some stuff from Blaze where, first of all, he changed his name on Twitter to Caster2 earlier today for about 5 seconds, then turned it back. Caster2 mentioned, of course, in Crimsix's story. And then he also did some tweets where I don't know if you would just want to bring up this one real quick, Omar, on screen if you can, but basically talking to Bryce, and because it's meant to be Bryce and Blaze and Velly that are involved, the 3 of them, and it's all a bit of a mess. And look, Austin, what's your thoughts on this? Because I know you think that this shouldn't have been as much of a big deal as it turned out to be. That was kind of Crim's thoughts as well. He saw it go down, tried to deal with the situation, diffuse the tension, and yet we still end up with our host resigning, whereas that probably didn't need to happen, a lot of people are suggesting here.
Yeah, like I've heard a lot of stuff about it. It's not my place to kind of like say what happened. I'm not going to sit here and like bullshit about it. Obviously, the people involved have been like dancing around the topic. If they ever want to fully talk about it, they're more than welcome to. I'm sure them dancing kind of around it, it makes people want to know even more. Personally, I wasn't there. Nobody on our team was there. So all I heard was it was a drunken. People were just hanging out, having drinks. It was a conversation that turned into a little bit of not a heated argument, but just an argument, and then turned like sour. And that it should have just been the end of it right there. I'm sure we've all had, arguments that get a lot of hand, that like, not like arguments as in like you're like upset, like arguments of just like passion where you're just discussing a topic. And it should have just been it. It should have just been it. I'm like really disappointed because I actually really like Velly. I feel like he's brought a lot of energy to the desk that was much needed. Personally, I think we've had the best year of talent. We have 2 A-tier, S-tier perfect caster duos and like Chance and Miles. We have Maven and Merc, and then we have Lando and Study, who have gotten like leaps and bounds better. Like, people got to remember, like, we've had Miles and Chance on the desk for years, and they've really started to unlock their potential lately. The last couple of years, like I think Lando and Study are just like building up their, they've only been casting for a year, so they've been building that up. They've been so much better. And then we have Brycey and Ton, who bring like a different energy, a different style. I've like loved it. Our desk was really good. So like seeing this happen right before champs, I'm like extremely disappointed. It's just really tough because I just loved like the energy Velly brought. So I really do hope he's doing okay. I know he said on his live stream yesterday, he said he's been like, it's just been tough. Like he kind of lost a bunch of friends. He had to move out of his apartment. He's got to move now. He can't go to champs. He's jobless, he was saying. So like it's tough, and that's a stress I never want to feel. So like I do hope his situation gets better.
Was there not an option for him to just stay on and say nothing about this?
From what he said,
that's what I've been thinking, bro. Like, why?
It's like something happened, and now he just made it bigger than it was, and I just don't know the full story, so I can't.
There must be some history to cause this to be the reaction he took.
He just said he didn't want to work in a hostile environment. He said, like, basically, from what it turned into from an argument to like the end of it, when Caster 3, because they just keep referring to like different people.
That's how it's got to be. Caster 1 and 2 are Velly and Blaze. Caster 3's got to be Bryce. That's to our understanding. That's what it is. It might not be Bryce, but
yeah, whoever it was,
the rumor says it's Bryce.
whoever
So
it
just throwing
was,
that out there.
they said like it got to the point where it was extremely hostile, and like they don't think like Velly just said instead of like being in an environment where he's extremely uncomfortable, he would have rather just moved on. And what was weird was it was like it kind of was blowing over for a bit. Like it happened, it was over, he resigned. Like the league tweeted about it, he tweeted about it, like saying it's not the CDL. It was kind of blowing over, and then that just god awful Dexterdo article came out, and then all of a sudden now it's a big deal. Now everything's going off because they painted, they painted it extremely one way. Just horrible article. That came out. I still can't believe it's up. I know they've been updating it consistently, but like I just couldn't believe it. But regardless, that's what like sparked this whole thing. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is what I don't fully understand. I don't know if you want to bring another... Wait, hang on. Did I put something in the chat there, Emma, or am I tripping? Am I just putting the same thing in the chat over and over again? Okay, it doesn't seem to be working. But, yeah, there's been some weird tweets. Like, everyone seems to be tweeting about this. Everyone and their grandmother's tweeting about this right now. And I agree, it's kind of went to another level. But I don't really understand the reaction here because... What Crim said was in his witness statement, which is just so Crim, it's incredible. But what he said was that Caster 1 and 2, which I think was Velly and Blaze, because Velly said, which I thought was rather interesting in his video, that he's known Caster 2, we think Blaze, for a long time. They go back to the Gears of War days. And he said that, like, okay, he can still have a conversation, a drink, a meal with him. But I think there obviously was some sort of friction or some tension between the two of them because Crim said that Caster 3 initially came over to diffuse the situation between those two. So Velly's story was that Caster 3 came over, supposedly Bryce, and basically just started to assault Velly, whereas Crim said that it was Velly and Blaze that were maybe in a bit of an altercation, and then Bryce tried to come over to defuse it, but it actually ended up making it worse, and then Crim had to do the defusing. Like, it's honestly such a mess, man. It's incredible. But I mean, that's just trying to read between the lines a little bit, between the stories of exactly what might have happened. I wasn't there. None of us in the call were there. We don't know. But the thing is, right, that all this stuff is painting Bryce as the bad guy, right? But then again, But if we look at the results of the situation, Velly's the guy that's resigned. No further action to Bryce. We've got Maven tweeting, defending Bryce and saying he's the man. People who are talking trash have no idea what they're on about. And then we've got Blaze coming out and like dropping, atting Bryce with a bit of a fist bump emoji, saying that like he's the guy. So like, I don't get it really. It's like, I kind of want to believe Velly, but at the same time, I feel like there's got to be details here that we don't have because... Otherwise, I don't really understand why, if Velly wants to leave the hostile environments and Bryce has like assaulted him, then, and everyone's seen it, then, why is Bryce not the one getting kicked and Velly's still there in the non-hostile environment because Bryce is gone? So there's just a few things that I'd like a bit more clarification on. And, from what I've heard, what we've seen so far isn't the full picture. There's other sides to this. So it's kind of a classic case. Don't know if you have any kind of final thoughts on this, Chrome, because I don't want to speculate too hard. I kind of want to let this come out and unravel as it will eventually do, even though it might take some time. But we're going to see plenty more subtweets apparently before that all happens.
Yeah, it just seems like it's just a drunken argument and there's so many blank pieces because people were intoxicated and they don't really... I think everyone here has been in an argument when you're intoxicated and you wake up the next morning, there's missing pieces even for yourself. And I just think the whole thing is just ridiculous, bro. Like, we lost Velly, who in my opinion was the best addition to the talent cast this year, and we lose him 2 weeks before champs. Like, I mean, who knows if he would have come back next year, he could have went to Valorant or something, but I think he'll probably end up going there or Rainbow Six, but man, it's just such a waste just for something so stupid, bro. Like, it was just a pointless argument, and it was so ridiculous. I don't know, bro. I'm pissed. Like, I thought Velly was easily the best addition this year. Easily, hands down, not even close.
Yeah, he killed it, I think.
We need to wait until there's, like, more context. Because Bryce, like, we need to wait till Bryce says something. If he's even involved, we don't actually even know yet.
Yeah.
So... Like,
I don't think he will say anything. I don't think he's someone that will say. I think he'll just keep
quiet. He has
to.
On. Otherwise, he's going to get crucified.
I don't think. I think it's just going to blow over. Honestly, I don't even.
Eventually, will blow over.
I don't even if it is him. I don't even know who's in the right or wrong. I don't know if anyone's in the wrong. I don't know if it was just a drunk, stupid thing that nobody was in the wrong and this is overblown. I don't know. And the problem is people that were there are kind of just like vaguely saying like Crim put out the most detailed thing, but like now what it turned into is everyone that's not there is wondering what happened, and the people that were there are just kind of just like trying to let it blow over. So who knows? It probably will die down within a week, honestly.
And it's probably out of proportion as well already.
Yeah.
It'll die down for a week, and then
Velly
the YouTube chat will go rogue. Well, that's the thing. I he could have just done chaps, though. Yeah. Suck it up for chaps and give us the show. But we've got to find a host for chaps, right? Who's it going to be? Who do they reach out to?
Because you, bro.
tacticalrab.
Nah, I mean, to be fair, I would be down, but like, there's no. I mean, this is a big gig. Hosting the CDL is a big gig in the industry. Like, there's no way they're gonna give that to someone who's ever done any like camera work, really.
Bro, it'd be so funny.
That'd be funny, to be fair. But surely. They're gonna we
should get that trending.
Disaster class. Someone did tweet or something, but it's not gonna happen, boys. Don't the DMs are dry, so don't worry.
When you on the disc in BO4?
I was meant to be on the desk for the amateur stream.
I'm sure you're on it. Were you not?
I never actually got to be on the broadcast because there's some complications. But I was at the event. But I've been on like the stream a couple of times, being at events in the crowd shots and stuff. But I was meant to be on there. But that was somewhat different days back in the CWL. Like they just brought anyone out. Like just get on a plane.
Good old days.
Yeah, exactly. Days. Yeah, it's a bit of a minefield back in the day. Nowadays it's legit, so it is what it is. But we've got to get someone. I mean, I'd be getting Puckett in if I could. He's the guy. But I mean, I think he's a good desk host. I think like. He has a great voice for just anything. Like he was a great caster back in the day, but I don't really think he knows COD at that level nowadays. We don't need a caster anyway. But as a desk host with COD experience, Puckett would be the guy I'd be hitting up the DMs of first. But there are other options, I suppose.
Nah, he's the one probably. But his COD knowledge goes up to like 2015, and then it's kind of like he'd remember the Scumpies, Crimsix, like how good they are. He'd still be talking about them being the best players. I don't know, man. I actually don't know who you'd get. I would actually.
Well, Lottie.
Get Lottie back for one event.
Yeah.
Honestly, Courage is not a bad shout because he is out there in LA. Get him for one event.
That's the thing you got to think about. It's got to be someone that either knows the COD scene right now because they only have 2 weeks to catch up. Someone that is knowledgeable a little bit to the scene. I don't know. Someone that the league is comfortable with giving that job to. It's going to be really tough. I'm actually really interested to see who they end up giving it to.
It's Zoomer.
Yeah, but I would rather see him as like the analyst on the desk. Same thing with like Pat, like Aches, honestly. Like desk host is like something where you got to be able to guide the conversation really well. It's a tough job. It's extremely tough. So that's why it's got to be someone probably with experience in that because it's the biggest tournament of the year. So the options are kind of really limited, I would say.
There's not that many. Ben Genesee, maybe get him in. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it puts the CDL in a tough spot. I mean, they've not got much time to figure out what the plan is here. So I don't know. I think they can come up with something, but they've got a little bit of time. Velly's kind of put them in a little bit of a tough spot here because at least they thought that was locked up. But at least we've got the casters, I guess. Hopefully, Aches would be funny. To be fair, I think he would be. Maybe just not completely unbiased. I think ideally the host is unbiased, but maybe we can make an exception for Paddy P on the desk. I don't know. I think let's move on. Let's do Challenger Champs, baby. Challenger Champs alongside regular champs. We have the 8 teams confirmed that are going to be there. The first 4 teams we already knew. Ultra NA, Ultra EU, Team War, and what are they called again? Brack's team? They have a name. But it's Brack Classic Exceeded Mohawk. Iron Blood or something like something like that. Yeah, Iron Blood Gaming or something like that. So they made it because they finessed their roster with the pro points. Classic, CDL. decisions in how teams make it to champs, fantastic stuff. So then we had the 4 LCQs that went on around the world. The Asia Pacific team, you were saying, Lion, like won a LAN event recently. It's what are they called again? Something.
Point blank.
Point blank, yeah. Point blank, yeah, that's it. Cronus, Kut, Ament, Jarzen, and Limax. They're the team that qualified. Probably not the favourites for this one, but I mean, they're going to be out there in LA, baby. Hopefully they can do APAC proud, because, you know, if you come in and get absolutely bopped off the main stage, it's not looking good.
Yeah. It's been a really rocky core, I would say, 4 years for ANZ, but in reality, more like 6. Since like Black Ops 3 champs, when we had, I think it was 4 teams at champs, and none of them made the bracket. They all got destroyed. Everything just went downhill and got worse and worse and worse. And, you know, our biggest hope for this year would have been like the ex-Renegades team, which is now known as Orglis, which had, Shocks, Fighter, Luca, and I forgot the last player. Do you guys know? Restoring, yes. And like they won like majority of the cups this year. And it was Point Blank that were coming up in second, like pretty much every cup. But there was one LAN earlier in the year. We got one LAN in ANZ, which was hosted by some third party.
I remember that, actually. Nasky was there, wasn't he? He was in like Sydney or something.
Yeah, and this team won, but ex-Renegades was not there. So this is like technically ANZ's second best team, who the way they qualified, they all went to like a LAN center and like played together in that sort of setting, which other teams most likely did not do. So I don't really know what to expect from them, because I don't watch much ANZ COD, but I just know all these names from like all the years I've been involved in the scene, and they haven't always typically been the top players in the scene, but they've always been like right there. And so I think it's quite cool to see them get a chance. I just don't know if like what they're capable of at this level. So and I'm really hoping they can prove. ANZ has still got some great talent, but I really just don't know, because our scene has been barren for at least 5 years now. So let's just hoping for the best, eh?
Yeah, we were saying before that for the APAC team and the Latin American team, right? They can't even practice until they land in America, because there's no other teams playing. Like, at least North America, I think there's 3 teams, 1, 2, 3, and then Europe.
All the European teams are already here, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, are they? So I mean, yeah, they can obviously scrim. Do you know if pro teams are scrimming the amateur teams, Austin?
Not really. Like not pros aren't really scrimming them, except for like probably like S&D stuff. Okay. Just because there's 8 pro teams, so like the way you can do that is you can evenly just have 2 pro scrims each day and then kind of like alternate. So yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, for those other 2 teams, man, like, they're not going to get practice until, I don't know when they fly, probably 7 days before the event. So they're going to be playing rank play for the next week.
I mean, the CDL doesn't want to put them up in a hotel for like any longer than they have to. Like, they'll probably fly them out the day before if they can get away with it. So, I mean,
Yep. I mean, the
tough
talent we get to in ANZ, the talent we scrim anyway is kind of unbelievable. I remember back in 2016 when I used to scrim, CWL teams would scrim me in like 3 pickups before their matches and shit. Like, it was, bro, it was nothing.
It's unreal,
so, like, that's what they had to deal with. And I assume now that they're the only team left in ANZ to play, who's going to scrim them? Probably me and fucking 3 pickups. Like, it's really tough out here.
To the PlayStation communities, that's where we used to try and find scrims.
Yeah. It's mad. But it's fun. It's good fun. But, bro, they're getting no practice. And if they get no practice over there, I don't know. It's just probably going to be a double bop out of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I know Magic Game's Ultra Academy with no practice.
Oh, man. Is that the bracket, or? I mean,
I don't know what the bracket is, but
I mean, they're the 8th seed.
But I mean, I might be right.
I think they are.
Are they the 8th seed? Jesus.
Yeah, they will be.
They probably will be, because APAC technically like less pro points or something.
I guess we could run through the teams real quick, just because I don't know if I think most people will know most of the teams, but there are a couple like dark horses there. I don't even know. Do you guys know all of the teams that qualified, like all of like how they've done this year?
I mean, I was just going to touch on the ones that did qualify. We'll mention D1 quickly, that Latin American team, because were they not the team that tried to move to the States and then they weren't going to be able to play? And I guess they said, okay, our rule is stupid, you guys can play. And they qualified. So that's awesome news.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not the full team then.
Yeah, they made a change a couple days actually right before the qualifiers. I'll actually link you guys the stats real quick. From the LCQ.
Lion's mouth is watering.
And I'll put it in the chat for everyone too, in case you guys want to see all the stuff. I don't have the EU stuff in currently. I'm gonna put it in the YouTube chat. There you guys go. You guys can check that out. So I'll just run through the teams really quickly. The two Toronto Ultra Academy teams. Obviously the NA Academy is probably the favorites to win the whole tournament right now. That's the team that just dropped Mohawk for Assault. So it's Assault, HECZ, Scrappy, Vickle. That's a very strong team. It's been the top team in North America now for the entire year. On the European side, there's really been 4 top contenders that we've had, which was the Toronto Ultra Academy EU. Actually, we had 5. You had Team War, you had AIM, you had the ROKKR Academy, and you had a Wobbles or something like that. I can't even say it. That was probably butchering it, but that was like the Buza, Brezzy, Cobra, and Chaxter. So like there was like 5 really good teams. The 2 auto qualifiers were Team War and the Toronto Ultra EU. And then coming out of the qualifier was AIM, which probably has my MVP for the entire Challenger season. I'm going to put something in our Discord chat too real quick.
Did they not like lose a map or something this tourney?
They lost, I think, like a couple maps, like literally a handful, but they were terrific. My favorite player on this team is probably Super, who has a 1.27 for the entire season. And yeah, he's been absolutely just Kentucky frying the whole competition. Yeah, he's their AR player. Him and Lucky at the beginning of the season were really like duking it out, and then he's been terrific. He's been really really good. And hardpoint he has a 1.27, S&D he has a 1.31, and then in control he has a 1.26. So absolutely just absurd stats out of him. He's been really really good this year. And so that's why I was really pumped when they made it out, because Eric Boom actually had a really good tournament as well. On the NA side, that's where Clayster, Fellow, Prestini, and Venom made it out. I mean, obviously you can see on the graphic that Iron Blood automatically qualified with Brack, Classic, Seed, Mohawk, but they were the ones that came out of the qualifier. I don't think people were they weren't the overwhelming favorite to make it out, but they made a really deep run. Looked fantastic. Venom was like the star player on that team. He had a 1.18 in the qualifiers with a 98.
Venom. She's probably not in the chat, but she's usually here, so glad to see Venom frying again. Been a long time, been deserved.
Yeah, bro, he was absolutely lighting it up. He had a 1.26 in hardpoint, and the final Tuscan that they actually played, he had like so many triple kills, like actual triple kills on P5 of Tuscan. It was absolutely absurd. So he made it out. The D1 team, yes, that was the D1 team that played in the NA Elite, and they pretty much walked through the Latin American scene. Trakes, I believe you call it, had a 1.33. And then Aaron Suckery, so he goes by Aaron now because there's obviously a Suckery in the EU. So he had a 1.22, and then QT had a 1.18, and then Zoner had a 1.07. Trakes is actually Trakes had a 1.33. He had a 1.35 in hardpoint, a 1.41 in control. And then they kind of struggled in S&D, but he had a 1.23 in S&D too. He actually plays S&D 8s with like the pro players and like the S&D scene here. Like Tupac, when I said his name, like Tupac knew him. They do chals against him a lot apparently. So he's actually really really good. And then obviously the point blank, you guys kind of touched on them. They did pretty well too in the qualifier. Limax at a 1.23 overall. He had the highest Slayer rating of the entire tournament out of any region with a 1.01.
He was going
101.
He was cheating.
Yeah, he was doing really, really well. And they beat Mind Freak, Orglis. There was a lot of different teams that they played. They played really, really well. So yeah, that's a basic rundown. A couple key teams that were missing. Like obviously you have ROKKR Academy. You have a Wobos, I think it is. It's the European team. That's the one with bro. I don't know. That's the team with Brezzy. And I honestly I thought they were gonna be a shoe in the qualify. I really thought they were gonna be the ones to make it. I'm trying to think who else. So that's pretty much it on that side. Like obviously ROKKR Academy, and them, and then from on the North American side, ESG, so Electrify Steel, that's Godorex, Fame, Pander, Pentagram. they played terrific. Like, I am actually so disappointed they didn't make it. They had crazy team stats that you guys can see on the doc. Another team, the Awobobos NA, that has Yuli Cryptic.
You picture that worse than me.
Bro, I can't say it. But it has Yuli Cryptic Hollow in mind, so that was like the core of like Stallions. They didn't make it, and then Rex, John, Gintroid, and Kaiser, who won the last tournament going into this, they didn't qualify. Obviously, Doug and Co came in top 8. So there was a bunch of teams that unfortunately aren't going to make it there. But overall, this is a really solid like group of 8 for like this format. I absolutely hate this format. I still can't believe. Like, it hurts my head that they had the top 4 qualify, right? But they didn't make the roster lock for the Boston tournament. So then you could change your roster after the Boston Open. Like, come on. But like, for the format that they have, like, honestly, this is a pretty stacked like lineup. So I really am interested to see how the D1 team does. I want to say, like, my favorite to win it is probably like Toronto NA, but AIM and Clay's team are going to be a dark horse to make waves in that. So yeah, it's gonna be really tight between all like 8 of them, honestly.
Yeah, I want to see this AIM team like actually show something on LAN. Come on, the Spanish, I believe.
I actually heard that Silly is coaching the D1 team. Or like an assistant coach or some shit, which would be pretty funny.
It's actually HECZ's son. You guys know him. He's from your Discord.
Yeah, that's my boy. Right? That's my boy. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember him for the Discord, bro. He's been for a while, but he's on there. And then actually one of the guys from our S&D league. Oh my god, I have to bring it up. What's his name? He's gonna kill me because he was literally in our S&D league. He's their S&D coach. Joker. I don't know if you guys remember him from our S&D league that we did, but Joker is their S&D coach. So,
bro, some of these teams, I'm not even kidding you, have 6 coaches. Like, I'm not exaggerating. One of these teams has 6 coaches.
Good. You want to know why? Because just how like the amateur scene is to develop players, like just how it is to develop players, it needs to be there needs to be a pipeline to develop coaches. So like
Clayster's team has 4 coaches listed on the thing, but I think there's more.
Like that's 4 or however many coaches that are working together and like honing their craft and like changing how they're doing and learning. So like I'm all for it. Like the more coaches there is on the amateur side, that's a better pipeline to like the getting more coaches in the pro scene. Because everyone pretty much has a coaching staff now, and we're probably going to start entering the period. Like right now, like coaching staffs are pretty stable. I can probably count on one hand the amount of coaching changes we've had in 3 years, but we're probably going to start entering into a phase where just like how in traditional sports, you're going to have, coaching staff turnover depending on results or like like somebody needs a new voice within the locker room, so there needs to be a consistent pipeline for coaches as well, not just like players.
Agreed. I mean, it's the same thing with casters, really, right? But yeah, I mean, it's cool. Like we're seeing that next generation. It kind of reminds me in a way of how, I mean, it's still valid, but in Valorant, when everyone at the start of Valorant, all the players were just kind of like either washed CS pros or pros that weren't good enough to be CS players. Now you're actually seeing the proper talent pipeline where you can't, as an ex-CS pro, just come over to Valorant and expect to get a contract on a top team. It's like we saw for quite a while in COD, and it's still the case to a degree, that you don't really have a good pipeline into coaching or into general management or into those roles. It's kind of just like ex-players that might be good at it just get given the job. Like, and eventually there will be that progression, and this type of stuff helps it. So it's just cool that these guys are getting exposure. At the end of the day, it's a Challengers World Championship on LAN, which is the first time in a while. So at least that's cool. The format might not be great, and I guess the CDL might have wanted to change it, but they couldn't change venue issues or accommodation budgets or whatever. So they've got to do a better job next year. It's a shame to especially see that team you mentioned from the Pandas team, whatever. Those guys were Electrify Steel. They were ultra frying and didn't qualify, but Clayster just too much ice, baby. So they're through. 3 world champions, I think, was mentioned in the chat at the Challengers Champs. Assault, Clayster, and Pristini, which is quite something. I mean, yeah, it just goes to show what's going on really with why we need expansion, basically. Let's talk the MVP race, because every year the CDL so far, there's been 2 MVPs per season. There's been the regular season MVP, and then there's been the World Championship MVP. Back in Modern Warfare, Shotzzy was the regular season MVP, and it was Crimsix who got the championship weekend. In Cold War, it was Simp and Abizi, respectively, even though probably Cellium should have won championship MVP, but I feel like they felt bad for not giving Abizi the regular season one. This season, they've got to come up with 2 more. Of course, the World Championship, that we'll see what happens in a couple of weekends' time. But the regular season, we have all the information we're going to have. The decision is going to be made, I'm guessing, shortly before champs on who the regular season MVP is going to be. There really are only 2 names in the conversation here. I think Shotzzy was there, and since then has not really been there anymore. It's between Cellium and Dashy. It's one of the 2. I think there's no way it's not one of those 2. So who's it going to be? Obviously, we've got Austin here in the call. I think without thinking that much, with giving it barely any thought, I was basically just saying Cellium hands down, because I think that he's been, just watching him, he's more impactful to that team, he's more impactful to the league, he is the most valuable player in the league, I think. But the stats of the 2 are almost identical, and then you consider the fact that Dashy has won an event, and he's been an MVP, and he leads the head-to-head between the 2 of them 5-1. So then you have a bit of a question on your hands. If you ask the fans, we know what they'd say. If you ask the talent of people or whoever's actually going to vote on this, I think they'll vote Cellium, but I think you can make credible cases. So, yeah, Crone, what do you reckon here? Like, I don't know when they're going to announce this, but I'm guessing they're going to announce it shortly before champs, regular season MVP.
Yeah, I think they said during the championship weekend.
Oh, during I think they did it before, during the weekend. Yeah.
I mean, I've been thinking Cellium most of the year, but I mean, you can make an argument for both, right? Like, Dashy has won something, but then again, Cellium has the better overall average placement. You know, he's come second and
3 times.
The third?
Recently,
second 3 times and then third. And then Dashy's come off first 6-6, third, whatever, 4th. And the stats are pretty identical, but I personally would go for Cellium. Like, I know that Dashy has won an event and Cellium hasn't, but I just think he's been more consistent. At least they're not coming 6th, they're coming second the whole time. But I can see people arguing. I'm not going to sit here and argue with people that say Dashy. It's like, if you think that, you think that. I would personally go Cellium, and I think that's who. I don't know who votes. I think it's probably like the talent desk maybe, and maybe like some people behind the scenes, the stats guys, and all those types of things. But I think that they will go for Cellium, if I'm being honest. I don't know about you guys.
Go ahead, Austin.
I mean, I should probably stay out of it because I'm like super biased.
But what's your perspective on how MVP should be determined? I'd be intrigued to hear your thoughts on that.
It should not have nothing to do with the fan vote. Absolutely 0. It should be casters, talent. Like, you should do like 1/3 CDL, 1/3 GMs, and 1/3 coaches. And the coaches and GMs can't vote for their own players. So the way we do the coaches poll basically is we have the other teams rank the 11 other teams, so it takes out your bias completely. And it just falls onto like how you do that. So as tough as that would be, that's how you like even out the votes. So it's not like, one way or the other. But I firmly believe it should have 0 impact on a fan vote. Should be like the people that are around or in the league. I'm not sure how they're even doing the MVP vote for this one. So yeah. But I won't pick or choose one or the other because it's just either I could say something that makes sense logically, but it's like it's gonna be like biased one way or the other. So I'll let you guys debate it because I know like we have 3 of you there, so like it comes out with somebody would be a winner. So that's what we should do there.
Yeah, I think it's clearly between those 2 players. But I also wanted to put Pred in there a little bit. Because regardless of how that team has performed this year, he's always been the same sort of player, just consistently putting up numbers. I can respawn, he's got a 1.1 when he's the aggressive SMG, and it's quite, that in itself is a crazy stat line.
If they won Major 4, he might have.
Yeah, I think you could put him in the conversation, but I don't think he's coming close to the other 2.
Yeah.
He'll get Rookie of the Year, though, right? I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, but do they do that at the end? So it depends on champs, maybe, but...
Is it not at the same time? Yeah, I think it's at the same time.
Okay.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I think they'll do the MVP and the Rookie of the Year at the same time.
Oh yeah, because last year they didn't even announce it, did they? So like we had to guess.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
oh yeah. Isn't that
An
good?
obvious comparison for like MVP is like the NBA, and the way that the NBA does it is usually it's like one of the top 2 teams, like
Top
the team
seeded,
with the best record, like. And it's
but they don't have
really...
tournaments in between the seasons, so it's kind of hard to.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, you should just have 2 different awards because most valuable player and then the player of the year should be like. Obviously, you can name them differently, but like that's how it should be because people just turn the MVP into who's the best player. When in reality, it's like the most valuable player is the reason why their team is that good. Like he is the major driving force. Whereas the best player could be anybody on any team. It's just the best player in the league. So like my personal opinion is somebody that hasn't been placing that high should not be considered for the MVP because like the team's not having success. So how is he the most valuable to the success? So that's why like I understand the most valuable player turns into the who's the best player, which makes sense. I'm not against it. I just think there should be 2 different awards, and then the MVP of the playoffs, and then they could even break it down farther and have like who in your mind when you guys think back like if the player that's not playing right now, who's the best SMG there ever was? You do like the TP SMG Player of the Year award, some shit like that, right? And then whatever the SMG was, and then have the Karma Damon Barlow AR Player of the Year, and then so on. You could break it down like that.
Player.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the Apathy Award or something for the SMG.
So,
but yeah. No, I agree. It's interesting actually because I agree with that one. Like most valuable should be the most valuable player should certainly be the most valuable player to that particular team. And the issue is with giving it to Dashy is that Shotzzy I think is probably more valuable to that team than Dashy is, even though Dashy's numbers and MVP awards make him look better. And I would like in terms of best players over the course of the year, I would have Dashy higher. But I think in terms of value, Shotzzy is actually more important to their success this season than Dashy's been. Whereas Cellium has been the absolute stonewall behind all of FaZe's success. Like, if there's only one person you can count on to consistently go off on FaZe, it's Cellium. The other 3 have all been a bit suspect. Cell's always delivering. So, to me, like I think from that angle, it's kind of clear cut. I honestly think the judges will see it the same way. But at the same time, both times so far in the CDL era, we've had the same team has won regular season MVP as champs MVP. So I do wonder whether that changes this year. I mean, it'd be interesting.
When they announce it.
Yeah, it does. It does definitely. But yeah, so Gus might be right. Dashy might be better than Shotzzy, but I think Shotzi's more impactful.
If they're smart. What they do is because like the finals is by itself on a Sunday of COD Champs. If they're smart, they announce it before the final starts. So then that's how you get some of the viewers to come in to see who wins the award. And then that's how you kind of like build some hype. And then that's also how you have it so the MVP award isn't based off of the finals, like who wins. It's just based off of the season. And then you could have the MVP trophy after the finals is done as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm going Cell. That was my pick. What was yours, Rab?
I think we agree then. Yeah, I also like when Octane was talking about it, like I kind of saw there's some good arguments for Dashy. It just depends exactly how you quantify MVP. But yeah, I think that like when you did your article, Crone, and like when people were voting, with just people with some idea what's going on, like Cellium was actually dominating those votings. Like even though you'd think it might be close, like Cellium was getting like 90% of people were choosing Cell number 1 in those rankings.
It was before Major 4 though. I didn't do one after Major 4.
Yeah, it's not going to change, is it? So
yeah, that's why I didn't realize that. It's pretty much the same.
Yeah, exactly. So interesting discussion. But I mean, yeah, OpTic win champs, Dashy champs MVP, easy. Okay, before we talk, I do want to touch on OpTic a little bit, but there was some more drama because we love drama in the COD scene between Crimsix and Attach. And Crim came out and was going a bit rogue on stream, as he likes to do, and basically was doing it. He did a tier list of pros, and he put Attach quite far down, and then Attach did his tier list of pros, and he put Crim in the D tier. And Crim wasn't particularly happy about that, it seems, and started saying that Attach's really, like, the way he plays the game this season was only beneficial to him, playing for kills, dropping 1.2s, looking like God amongst men, but actually not getting the results right, which you can understand Crim's perspective, because when Attach has been dominating for the last couple of months, but yet they still fail to make champs, they come top 12 in the major, like, maybe you can make an argument there. Now, Crim has a good idea, I think, in terms of how players play the game. Is it impactful? Is it not? He's done a very good job of that on his team. Doesn't mean he's always correct, but I think, you know, Crim's opinion obviously carries some weight. So, yeah, Crim was basically saying, look, I would hate to be Attach's teammate. He had a bit of Twitter beef between the two of them, where he was calling Attach just playing for kills, and Attach was, you know, coming back with a bit of beef, really. And then Crim was like, well, I'd hate to be Attach's teammate. I'd be absolutely disgusted if I was his teammate, because Attach is going to go on to another team, get a pay rise, and look really good, whereas I'm going to get left out to dry and get a pay cut and looking terrible, and it's all because of Attach. Now, whether that's the case, I don't really know. They do end up joining kind of a call together, and they go through a couple of VODs where New York played up against ROKKR at the major, and kind of backtracks a little bit, Crimsix, eventually, and says, you know what, the plays he was making were understandable in certain situations, but Crim seemed to kind of still believe that, like, he even said, I'm not trying to roast you, I'm trying to help you, which I thought was an interesting statement. And Attach seems relatively receptive. So, like, is there any value to this? Because Attach, of course, has gone from being an SMG to now being more of an AR player. We talk about how it's generally easy to slow down, but could Attach be playing in such a way to... Because if you look at the stats, this I thought was interesting. Their hardpoint stats this day, or for the last... like, since they got Havoc in, I think they were 14 in 10 in hardpoint, which is solid, don't get me wrong. But I reckon, like, if New York's hardpoint stats were 14 in 10, the players would pretty much be even. Attach had like a 1.2, Havoc had like a 1.07, Stanley was positive, Priester had like a 0.9 something. Like, they were outslaying massively and only winning like 60% of their hardpoints in that period, which is better than they were doing, but there were some useless kills, I'm imagining. So, yeah, I don't know. Austin, do you think there's any value to this? I mean, I don't know, but Attach is still going to get a good spot next season, but Crim, he's a bit of a joker, but I do listen to what he says.
Yeah, so honestly, I think every team has a player that plays for kills. I think that's like part of like the strategy this year is you actually kind of need that. I mean, you can look at every team and you can see who that is. The difference is like when you turn that off and actually play like the team game, like rushing hills, baiting for your teammates. Like, so like there's times when you should be baiting and there's times where you should be playing the kills. I don't think Dylan had played anything bad this year. I think he played really, really well this year. I think I mean, we've been saying for years he should be on the AR. That his pacing on the SMG just isn't where it needs to be. Like he's a great SMG player, but sometimes he plays a little bit too slow to where his pacing makes more sense to be an AR. And we kind of saw that this year. It works, and it worked really, really well. I thought he was like one of the bright spots for the team. On that note too, I just hope people don't jump on the bus of like good KD, good player, because like a lot of players, their job is on the team is to have a good KD. It's like being a duelist in Valorant, or being like the second person, third person in on CS. Like your job is to have the high kills. So you got to look more than just KD, especially with how the roles kind of broke down this year. But when you look at everything else, like Attach had really high like everything this year. So it wasn't just him playing for kills. He also had a lot of engagement. He had the second highest damage per minute on his team. He was getting a lot of non-traded kills. He was getting a lot of assists. So, and he was one of the most active players in terms of like opening duels and S&D. He had one of the highest, offensive. He had the highest offensive and defensive KD in control. But he also had some of the most engagements, the most damage per 10 minutes. So he was doing a lot more than just having a good KD. So that's also what you got to look for when you're comparing roles like that.
What do you reckon, Crane? Any thoughts on this? Like, is this going to affect Attach's stock at all next season? I doubt it.
No, I doubt it, bro. So, Attach was fine to me, but I'm not COD minor like Crimsix. I think Crimsix is just starting drama for, you know what he's like. He's just bored. He just gets bored and wants to talk shit. I think Attach is fine, bro. He'll be fine next year. He'll get a bag. It honestly reminds me of like a Walmart version of Octane in Modern Warfare, where incredible stats, but they just weren't winning. They just weren't winning. It was a little bit different because ROKKR were winning a little bit on the online matches. But no, I think Attach will be fine, bro. Attach is a really, really good player. He's been around for a long time. He's not an idiot. He knows what he's doing. And I think what Austin said is right. Like, as long as he knows the difference between, every team has a stat pattern, and it's been like that for a long time. As long as the Attach knows when to flick their switch off and run to the hill or do something, don't just sit there. He'll be fine. And I think he'll get it on a good team next year. I could see him on a really good team next year. I don't know who with, but I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, I think also just the way his season went, it's like really easy to say that was the narrative, that he was playing for kills because the team just wasn't performing. He might have been doing his role, but if you're doing a role and your team's still losing, it doesn't matter really who you are. You can be like called a scapegoat for not playing at that level just based on wins and losses. So I think that's another person in that sort of boat would be Temp, but even more so. He had pretty much, I wouldn't say no help, but close to no help all season, but he was dropping, 1.1, 1.2. And so, of course, you can't really give him all that credit because there are more kills on the map. And so I just don't really know. I think he might have been doing his role, but you can't say that for sure because they lost so many matches and didn't make champs. So, yeah, I think looking into his actual play style, you can go.
No, it's all good. I mean, I just wanted to add on to that really because as Crim was talking about that, he basically seemed to believe that Attach was making Standy look particularly bad. I think Standy's kind of the other topic I wanted to have here because I saw a Reddit thread the other day. I was like, which player fell off the most year 1 to year 2? And the unanimous answer was Standy, which I think is correct, to be honest. I can't really think of another player that had such a great first season and then has been nowhere near as impactful this year. Standy was, what did we decide him as? Tied rookie of the year, right? With him and Insight, pretty much. He won an event. Standy was basically had the same stats as aBeZy all season. Since he joined Minnesota ROKKR, and this year has been nowhere near that level, right? So I think obviously to a degree that's Standy falling off, but I think Crimsix, and Crimsix was, when we talked about the Velly drama, in that room where that was going on, was apparently Crim, Paulex, Standy, and Scump were the 4 pros that were there. So kind of interesting that Standy was there talking with those guys, and Crim seems to actually rate him kind of highly despite the year he's had, which I thought was rather interesting. So I don't know, what do we think is going to happen to Standy, right? Because we talked about the fact that he's a free agent and Havoc can be extended and might well be. But there's no way Minnesota want to run it back with Standy and Havoc. It's just too unpredictable that that's actually going to work out. You need Standy to go God mode again. And I'm not even sure it makes that much sense to start with. But if Standy does go, people like Crimsix value him. So I think it creates some questions, Austin. But yeah, I still think Standy can be a great player. I'm just thinking what happened this year. I don't really get it.
Yeah, I just don't think this game was because this game still requires, because of the low time to kill and everything, positioning is really key, and how to play with your teammates. I just don't think this team had a super lot of coordination, and I think there was some mental lapses here or there, and I just don't know if this was just his best game. Again, that's why I think next year he'll be kind of where Neptune was at the beginning of the year, where he'll be kind of on a prove it. This will be a high pressure. He'll be probably with another good SMG. He'll probably be on a good team, but he'll have to perform because in this league you really don't get too many off years, right? You usually get one to two where they kind of before you kind of get moved on from. So I hope he does do good next year. The thing in the league right now is that SMGs are really, really hard to come by. So Crim's probably talking that up too because he knows SMGs are really hard to come by. So Standy was really good last year, so maybe he can turn it around. It's the same thing with Neptune, and it's the same thing. You want to be friends with all the good SMG players. So because there's only so many. There's only, I mean, ideally, or honestly, there's probably only like 10. Because like what? There's 24 SMGs in the league, or no? Yeah, there's 24, and probably like 10 of them, 8 to 10, you could say are like truly like elite, like star level players, and then some of them are still developing into that level. So it's hard to find, like, and a lot of those players are on the same team too. So it's really hard to find when you're building a team or when you're rebuilding, find really good SMG players.
Yeah, I feel like we're also trashing them a little bit. We got to remember, like, this year ARs were dominant for sure. Like, the KDs of ARs were much different than last year. Like, last year the disparity between ARs and SMGs wasn't that much. This year it's like 0.1 on average probably. KD wise, he had a 0.94 in respawn, but he was their best search and destroy player. He went positive in first bloods as an SMG, and he had a 1.07 most kills per round. And so I think just maybe aspects in respawn where this ROKKR team was lacking, he was just having issues kind of like playing within that system with that like pacing. But in SND, he's still that guy. So I just think he needs the right players around him, and then he can find his respawn again and then continue to play at that level in SND, and he should be fine.
Yeah, I remember people used to talk about. No, go on, Crane. Sorry, can't have one off today.
No, I was just gonna say I think he'll be fine, but only just because I'm trying to think of SMG players that can come in next year, and there's not that many. You know, there's like HECZ, Vehicle, Beans. You know, maybe like does Venom play SMG?
Venom, yeah, Venom,
Pristini, maybe. Like there's a couple, but there's not that many. I think Standy will be fine, like, but just. You know, but then we have people like Jimbo who's probably not going to be in the league. Johnny's kind of 50-50. I doubt he'll be in the league. Maybe, I don't know. But I think Standy will be fine next year. Like, by default.
How many times... Sorry, I cut you off. How many times has a player... Fuck, sorry. You gonna finish?
I'm done. Good.
Okay, sorry, bro. How many times have we seen a player like have a bad year and then come into a different title and be great? So... Like, I remember specifically, Nagafin had a really tough year in, I think it was World War II. Like, he was in pretty much like an AM the whole year. And then he came in on Gen G and was a beast.
Wait, he got benched. He was the first man out in Gen G.
But they brought him back in at some point, but then they did bench him again. They did a flip-flop between him and Spacely.
When he was on the team, though, they made 2 grand finals. And then with Spacely, they didn't make a grand finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
benched him for Envoy, didn't they?
Oh, maybe.
Off topic though, but you are right.
Naga did make a comeback, to be fair, because he was a jetpacker, but then he made a bit of a comeback in Black Ops 4.
He was disgusting at jetpacks, man.
Yeah. Especially Black Ops 3. But anyway, maybe not the best point, but a lot of players have proven that a new title can completely change the trajectory of their career. So, yeah.
100%. I
think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Let's touch on OpTic real quick, because they mentioned that every day, Rambo's talking about that every day of their practice has got progressively better. They were saying their practice going into Major 4 was surprisingly poor, and they reckon every day's got somewhat better. So I guess that's a positive sign for OpTic fans. The other thing they mentioned was like the teams that they are practicing against, because I guess this is probably the case for most teams, but no one really wants to scrim anyone on their side of the bracket. So if you're OpTic right now, you play Toronto round 1. If you win that, you play either Thieves or Boston. So Rambo said that OpTic are currently only scrimming FaZe, London, Seattle, and New York, the 4 teams on the other side. They would probably scrim some amateur teams, but apparently there's some issue, even you touched on it earlier, Austin, but like you like to play on the CDL servers to scrim on, but the amateur teams can't play on them because their patch is different to the CDL patch, although the patches are actually identical, but yet the numbers are different. So bit of a mess. Pretty much means that you can't really scrim amateur teams unless you want to play on a different server, which feels different. So really, you just want to stick with the pros. But yeah, OpTic are playing FaZe, London, Seattle, and New York right now in scrims, kind of on an off-day rotation basis. I guess maybe it's the same for you, Austin, with FaZe, but different teams, obviously. But from the OpTic side, like, that seems pretty good to me, because their weaknesses have been their Bacage, their Berlin, and their control. And playing teams like Seattle, New York, and FaZe especially on Bacage consistently, and also those are good control teams, apart from London, obviously. But London are a good Berlin team, right? So I think that they should be getting quite good practice on their weaknesses from those teams. And maybe, I don't know, do you feel the same, Austin, from FaZe the other way around? I don't know how you guys are scrimming, but...
Yeah, we're just not scrimming New York. Like, a lot of the teams, because the way you got to think about the bracket, too, is the only team you'll play on Thursday is the team that you match up against. But on Friday, let's say you lose, you will play somebody from the other side of the bracket that you've been scrimming continuously for 2 weeks. Or, like, in our case, like Seattle and London are on the other side. If we beat New York, we play them anyways on Friday. So we could play any of the other 6 teams on Friday. So we were just like, we'll just not scrim New York, and then we'll scrim everybody else. So I'm pretty sure that's what most people are doing. So you have pretty much like a consistent 4 teams, and then you sprinkle in a couple of the other 2 that are on your side. But yeah, it's good practice because like everyone's super giving a shit. Like, if that makes sense. Before Major 4, the teams that were going the hardest were obviously the teams outside looking in. But now that Major 4 is done, like everybody's going super hard. Like, it's kind of annoying, but like kind of not. I understand, but like after every map, everybody's taking like 15, 20, like they're taking like 10 minutes to like rewatch stuff and like go over stuff. So you can just tell everyone's going like super, super hard right now. But yeah, so practice is always really good, but that's the problem with the AM teams. But it's still good practice either way. But it's really, really good.
Any thoughts on those topic, gents, before... Oh, the dog's out. I don't know if he made it on stream, but I see a dog in Cred's background.
My son wanted to say good morning.
Is he an OpTic fan, the dog?
You OpTic fan? No. No.
No. I mean, yeah, any final thoughts on OpTic? Because we're going to do a CODLe to close out the show with you. I owe 6 hydrations? There's no way. Have I missed that many?
You say any thoughts on OpTic?
Yeah, I did.
No. I hope they
I think they'll do
like
good.
Shit. Yeah.
I think they'll do good. I think they'll make it to actually no. I think they'll make
top
it
3, baby.
top
It's top 3. Yeah. It's a classic OpTic top 3, I think. Jesus.
The thing I actually love about the bracket is like every matchup there's actually a lot of storylines to it. Like obviously us in New York, we played last champs too, but like I feel like we always match up when the tournaments matter. The LAP's Boston. Obviously, you have TJ versus LA Thieves, and then you like that team that's just going to be a really good matchup, like map pool wise. And then you have Toronto, Texas, who Toronto always beats them in round 11s, or like Toronto always loses? I feel like
they lost the last one.
Last year they always beat them, but
yeah, this year it's different, right? So it's been like really tough. And then the London Seattle, it's like a matchup of like because you have like the high tier SMG player and like Pred and Afro, and then you have Sib and Zero, and like you have a bunch of like really good players surrounding them. So like and like those are the 2 teams actually at the beginning of the year we were saying it's like 1 vet and then like surrounded by 3 younger rookies. And so like it's like a matchup of like philosophy, like the same philosophy, but different regions. So like it's going to be really interesting, all 4 matchups.
And to touch on the OpTic one, they've only played Toronto 3 times this year, and then 2 of them are game 5s, and they're 1-1 in game 5s. And then OpTic won the first time they played 3-0. But that was start of the year, so big changes since. But yeah.
Of course, yeah. I think a lot of that's going to come down to prep, and we're going to see. It's what I said a couple of weeks ago, that like this is, Rambo and Cinder have got to turn up here and prove their worth, because we know that Marky B and the boys are going hella hard on prepping for that series and trying to, undo the mistakes they made at Major 4. Okay, those are the topics for today. Next week, we will be doing our full champs bracket predictions. We'll probably do a player tier list in the off-season sometime, because there's going to be a lot of time between the end of champs and the start of the new year. Hopefully less time than usual, though. We'll see what the CDL does in terms of formatting and all that. But yeah, let me refresh the stream on my end so I can see the CODLe stuff, baby. I don't know exactly... Well, if you guys have been here before when we've done CODLe, it's Wordle, but it's for a COD thing. And oh my god, here comes the transition, baby. I don't know if you can still hear us while the transition's going on, but I mean, look at this. Okay, so last time, I forget exactly what happened, but I think we're just going to do this as a team, right, Omar? That's the way we're going to do it. Okay, fantastic. The chat obviously can help here. So we have 6 guesses. Okay, so the first one is a gun.
All right.
And then
I fucking love these, bro.
Yeah, okay. All right, this is good. This is good.
Wait,
So
is it
dropped...
all of us at once doing
it?
it?
It's all of us. All of us. Yeah. We all get to do it.
Are there
so
numbers?
Is the first one a gun? Is that what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
Okay.
MP4?
There's numbers as well. Oh, what about AK-47? Oh my God, there's numbers. Oh Jesus, man, this is gonna be.
Oh, is there numbers, Omar? That's tough.
Yeah.
Wow,
no, bro.
Wow, this is gonna be super hard. Okay, we're only 4. Damn, only 4. Sheesh. Okay. I mean, I want to start with MSMC, but I'm abusing 2 M's, which probably isn't good word or philosophy.
Krieg is one.
Okay, Krieg's good. Krieg's good. Let's do Krieg.
MP40 is good, and so is AK-47 though.
M4A1.
Do I want to go for numbers though yet? Maybe we should.
M8, A4, whatever the fuck.
Oh yeah, the burst.
Yeah, M8, yeah.
The hammer is that? I mean, it's not going to be the hammer, but like.
Funnily enough, bro,
letters.
That pretty much eliminates like all SMGs. Think about SMGs: MP5, P90,
oh,
MP7,
yeah,
AUG,
yeah, that's smart.
Uzi.
Actually, yeah.
Well, no, they're all 3 letters, bro.
Oh,
every like all the SMGs are 3 letters, so we got to think of like ooh, K-bar. That's a good one too.
Sorg, someone to the Sorg too.
Jesus Christ, bro.
Wait, there's a lot. Which one should we choose? You choose.
Lion. Which one are we doing?
Lion.
I reckon Sorg because there's 2 vowels in there.
All right,
okay, I like it. All right, we run the Sorg. There's good options here in the chat. Ah, we get nothing, baby.
Oh,
we get
bro.
Nothing. Okay.
Bro, I don't hate the ERAD. Because oh no, there's no way. There's no way. Yeah.
I've got to chalk that off. I kind of want to go.
Should we do a number one? Like if we do MP40, then
MP40 gives us an M and a 4, which could be good.
And the 0 will be good too.
0, yeah. Okay, MP40. Let's do that. ICR7. Damn, if you give me an ICR7, that's going to be tough.
Jeez.
Wow, we're getting nothing.
Bro, we are horrible.
Yeah, too horrible.
The Krieg. It's the Krieg 6 though. It's the Krieg 6 too. Damn.
KN97.
I see what you're saying. Damn. I mean, okay, so it can't be MSMC. I mean, it could be the B23R. Someone did mention that.
The B23. What the hell is that?
What is the chance that Omar's put the B23R in there?
Bro, B23R is a legendary pistol.
What about there's no G. I was gonna see the G36D.
Wow, it could be like any gun in any card.
It can't be an STG.
Pistols. I mean.
What about a Scar? Oh, the A. No A.
Yeah, we don't have an A. I mean, I kind of want to get an I in there. The rat. It can't be the A though. If Omar's done it, it's got to be a Modern Warfare gun. Interesting shout. I don't know. I was thinking Grau, but so it's not the Grau, is it? Because definitely.
What about the
1911?
no M?
1911.
Jesus Christ,
bro. Okay, the 1911. But we're not going to get anything from the 1911, bro. We're using 3 ones. Like, that's going to be the worst.
Odin's a good one. The Odin's a good one.
Odin works, right? What even is the Odin?
Throw it in there, bro. we're struggling right now. We need
honestly, yeah. Chuck the Odin in. It's going in. Oh, we need the letters, bro.
In.
Oh, come on. We have a letter. Come on.
We got 1 letter.
We have 1 letter, baby. Okay. But the end, where can the end be? It's not the end.
KN97?
Oh, it's KN94, right?
Oh, KN94, the fuck, yeah.
We have the 4, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a good
no, it's KN44 from Black Ops 3.
Oh, KN4. Well, it can't be the 4 either.
Wait, hold up.
But there was there not the KN57, or am I tripping?
KN44 was Bear 3.
Yeah, but then like
that was Black Ops 4. That was Black Ops 4.
Yeah, KN
57.
I thought there was a 57.
That was that was Black Ops 4.
Yeah, KN57 was Black Ops 4.
44 was Black Ops 3.
It was Black Ops 3, yeah. I think it was a KN57.
And then AN94 was Black Ops 2.
It's KN57.
Yeah.
Just Googled it.
Okay, what about the KN50? Wait, what did you say, Crane?
Oh, that was AN, actually. AN,
KN57.
Yeah, KN57 actually would work here. Because where else can the N be? The N's not going to be first, is it? Like,
I mean, if it is first, then it would I don't even know any guns that start with an N.
No,
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, like NZ41, but it can't be the 41. Okay, I think we go KN57, no?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Run it up.
Yeah, run
If
it
we
up.
don't get this, we should do a guess. Oh, a hint will be given after a fourth guess. Oh, yeah. Okay. We're going to need that.
Hey, come
Oh.
on, baby.
Oh,
That was a good shout from the boys there. That was a tough one, Omar. I like that. That was good. That was actually really good. We got that just off the end. That was clean.
Bro, that is so hard. Now we got COD player.
Okay, we got 5 letters though, so we get more. I actually think the less letters it can be harder because like you get less clues, you know. Okay,
Velly.
COD player or personality though. Should we start with
There's a
Velly?
lot. Yeah, I was gonna say Velly.
We got 6 guesses, you know. We could chuck it in. Should we start with Velly? I mean, it's topical.
Maven, man. Maven is 2
Maven's
vowels.
a good one. Maven's a good one.
Maven is actually a good
how
one.
Many, the 2 vowels in Maven.
Yeah. Okay, we can do Maven, I think. Maven's a more intelligent pick.
Maven was the one that I think Maven was the answer to the last one we did.
It's good
Oh,
for
maybe you were.
vowels regardless.
Oh,
Wait, it must be
baby.
Riven, right? Riven?
Oh, it's Revan.
Yeah, it's got to be
Yeah.
Revan. Wow, we got that mad quick. Wow, we got lucky there. We got hella lucky there. Okay, nicely done though. Revan would have been a good. That would have been a tough one to get with a V. How many things are there with a V? It can't be that many.
No,
Man, Revan.
Venom. Oh, but with the V in the middle.
Within the middle, yeah. I miss Revan on the desk, bro. He was actually
Gravity.
my favorite caster.
Oh, it could have been Gravity too with the V.
Could have been.
Map.
Okay, we did well to get that quick. Okay, map. Whoa,
6.
this is going to be annoying because like once you put 1 in and you get like 2 clues, it's like there's only so many it can be.
Fringe.
Should we go Fringe before? Yeah, let's switch it. I think I went Fringe first time before. Should we go Breach? Breach is good.
Yeah,
vowels.
Breach
Oh,
is good.
Berlin.
Breach is
I just
good.
saw Reese. Reese has put on Berlin.
Berlin just drops it in. I mean, Breach.
Because you get RNEI. Yeah.
Well, we get the
Yeah.
A in Breach. It's pretty similar. We'll go Breach.
Yeah.
Just love Black Ops 3, baby. This always comes to mind first. Ramaza, bro.
Ramaza.
Oh, okay.
Alright.
Okay, so the A is there. The E. So the ER makes me want to put the ER at the end, but it doesn't work. Okay. See, someone in the chat will probably just get this. But, okay, so could it start with the R? Thing is, already we could just go through like a load of possibilities here. We could like chuck another one in just to get some more clues, you know what I mean? Because we've got 2 vowels. Probably there's going to be no more than 2 vowels.
Yeah. I'm trying to even think of.
It can't quite be Bocage. Actually, interesting point though. A something E at the end. Like, yeah, but it could be Bocage, but it can't because of the R.
Thinking Havana, but it can't be Havana. The R,
man.
E.
What a good map. Yeah, okay. Let's go back in the day here. Man, there's so many maps. It's absurd. 6-letter maps.
Yeah, this is tough.
I'm just trying to think of ones with an A in them.
We have so generic,
Map.
Well, I'm thinking. Wait.
Oman, Yemen.
My
Rest.
brain's going back to like Black Ops 1.
It can't be that
And
deep,
I'm
right?
just running through the Black Ops 1.
What are the
maps
maps
in
from
my
this
head.
year?
It can't be that deep. There's no way. Okay, maps
no
from
way.
this year. We've got
Someone
Berlin.
said
We've got
Derail.
Tuscany.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, Mirage. Mirage was actually a DLC map in Black Ops 2 called Mirage. Wow, Derail.
No,
It can't be Tuscany. No. Derail is a very interesting shout, actually. From
I don't hate it.
Modern
What game's
Warfare
that
2,
from?
right?
Okay.
As MW2 Derail.
Well, what's the chat saying?
Well, I mean,
Let's
I
say
have
Derail.
seen. Yeah,
Bro,
I
the chat's
couldn't-
saying
I
Fortnite.
did see. Funkman said
Funkman-
derail.
Yeah, Funkman said. I mean, we've got to go Derail, but that's such a good shout if that's it, bro. But I feel like there can't be that many other options, no? We're gonna have to lock it in. We're gonna have to lock it in.
Breach
We
off
already
of
went
that,
Breach. Breach
bro.
is
I
up.
know. I don't
We've
even.
got to go Derail. These boys, they went for it. If it's right, we got it in 2, but like that's life, you know what I mean? Yeah, let's go Derail. I never actually played that map. I just saw. We can have the hint. We can have the hint. I'm down for the hint.
Oh, is it not right? No.
Oh, wow.
Wait, looks like a derailed train. I'm not
It
gonna lie
looks
to you.
like derails to me, baby. There's trains there. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, super wide open map. Damn. Funkman is too good, no?
That map
I
looks
think
like
that
some
is-
ass.
That looks
Wow.
horrible.
Funkman is actually.
I gotta look
pretty
this
good,
map
bro.
up. I gotta look this map up. I do not remember
It's
this
like
at
a
all.
snowy map.
Shut up, Funkman.
Yeah, Funkman, Unreal. Yeah, that's derail for sure.
Oh, of course.
Oh,
Yes.
Seen
bro, this
map
is the
before?
map where like snipers, like everyone used
Yeah,
to snipe
Sniper
on this
Haven. Yeah.
50 cal map, man.
because you used to sit
Wow.
on top of the roof. Oh my god, I remember. Oh my god, I didn't know this was called derail.
Wow. See, I was thinking Black Ops 1 maps, and it was bloody the game before Black Ops 1. But I wouldn't have even thought of derail. Funkman goated. Honestly, I think like 6 letters is almost too much for CODLe, or like for just in general, because like you get one guess and like it limits your possibilities so much. You know what I mean? Like because we had the R, the E, the A, the E, and the R, and it's like you can go through 200 maps and you're going to find like 1 or 2 maps that are going to have that combination. So I feel like maybe 5 is honestly like the golden standard, but 5-letter maps are pretty rare, really. Like you've got grind, and some other ones like frost. I'm thinking, damn man, I'm thinking about such good maps. I'm just thinking in my head, like, because that guy said Mirage in the chat, and obviously it's a CS map, but it was that Black Ops 2 DLC map, and I'm just thinking through the Black Ops 2 DLC maps, like you had downhill. Man, those some good times.
Bro, you know what I really want to do?
Called Pod.
Do you remember like the thing that you used to do where you used to have everyone do the guesses and like then high scores and whatever at the end? Can you imagine if we just went through all the maps, like the mini maps, and then had people guess what map it is?
Oh man, that'd be so fun.
Because like I like
I've seen OpTic do that. They did an OpTic trivia for COD maps, and like I was pretty cracked at that. I'm not gonna lie.
because like the names I'm horrible with, but when I saw the map, like I guess I couldn't really see it, but like as soon as I googled it, I was like, holy shit, this map was fucking horrible. But I remember this so much.
yeah, absolutely.
Like I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, off season because I used to do the quizzes. I used to do like the Kahoot quizzes.
The team logos and everything.
Yeah, team logos one. I did some other one for players, but yeah, they used to do well until they got botted one time. But that's just how it goes. I think Crone retweeted one of the mate odds. Was it Crone retweeted them? I don't know. Someone came in and like botted the Kahoot and it was a disaster. But we go again. So yeah, we can definitely try and do one of those. Like a quiz. COD scene quiz would be fun. Anyway, that's going to do it for today, baby. Great job putting together that CODLe as well. That's so good to do. Yeah, shout out Omar. Man, that I actually think we killed it on the gun one. That was tough. KN57, damn.
Yeah.
Pulled that right out. All right,
Best
fantastic work, everyone. Thanks all for tuning in, watching on YouTube, Twitch, and after the fact as well. We've had a good show. We're going to be back this time next week talking champs predictions, baby. We're going to probably have some more drama. And then we're going to have who's going to win champs. We're going to make a call. We're going to predict Paris Legion to win. They're going to rock up out of nowhere and just start in the losers bracket and make a run. Just, they just break the rules, Line of thoughts, boys. Lion, what are you looking forward to doing this week?
Well, I mean, the only thing I'll be doing in COD is putting up stuff on my socials, some cards, putting up some posts on Breaking Point.
Follow up
finishing, yeah, mate. Finishing all the COD Muse images so that they're all ready for champs. I've done like 28 of 32, so there'll be stat updates throughout all of champs, which will be mean. And yeah, what about you, Crone?
I don't know. This is probably the least I've ever tweeted about Call of Duty in 4 years. Like, I don't know, I've just been sick, and hopefully I come back and start, checking Reddit every day and checking Discord every day and Twitter every day. But I mean, nothing's been happening really. Like, aside from the Velly stuff and a few other news here and there, nothing's really been happening. It's been good for me, to be honest with you, just to detach a little bit. Like for 4 years, I've just been like constantly constantly on Twitter, like literally 24/7, and to just take a break from it for a little bit, even though I was sick, it felt fucking good, like real good. Like, so I just get burnt out sometimes on social media. Anyone that runs a social media, like, you know what I mean? Like, just refreshing your timeline every 5 minutes, make sure you don't miss nothing it does your head in, bro. You know, and I had a good little break, and hopefully I'll be back before champs.
I do feel you on that sometimes, but, you know.
Yeah.
Got to stay cracked.
You have to.
Austin, thoughts? Best week of practice about to come?
Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed. We got a packed schedule, so it's gonna be a grind. No days off, so yeah. Hopefully, we'll be looking good going into champs. But yeah, long week of work, but really excited for next week's tournament, man. I can't wait for it, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be exciting. Thanks all for tuning in and for watching after the fact. If you're literally just tuning in on YouTube, as some people probably are, then you can catch the entire episode right after we don't go live anymore. So yeah, thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. Thanks so much for producing everything behind the scenes, and we'll see you next time.